In current times, gun policies has become an extreme sensitive topic in relation to the increase in shootings and attacks in the United States. Those for the right to arm that consider shooting as a hobby argue that these are ways that help certain activities easier, such as hunting. But what about the controversial issues in regard to hunting associating itself with endangering animals and the effect it has on the environment? Sergio Castaneda, a 22-year-old mining engineering student who started hunting and shooting at a young age with the help of his grandpa and father, explained why he partakes in these activities and shares his thoughts on the controversy both have instilled.
I'd say these activities have impacted my life mainly with one, it's like physical. So like you have to be kind of fit or you're going to be struggling when you're walking up and down the mountains. And then another one, it just teaches you to be very patient because you're trying to outsmart an animal on its own turf. I don't know too much about the gun laws, but what I do know is what I can and cannot do. There's a lot of people that have like 30 and 50 and 100 round magazines, and I guess it's just to feel like Rambo, I guess, you know, just to have the adrenaline, but on my end, I really don't have a use for them. So I don't take advantage, I guess, of the law here that we actually can get those things. I don't take advantage of it because I don't find it necessary.
Sergio is aware of the controversy with guns and hunting and explains his thoughts with issues on current gun laws, trophy hunting, poachers, and what can be done to improve these problems.
I think hunting overall, it's a great sport, and I say sport, but it's a hobby of mine, and mainly it's because in a population, so like we have our land use and we have the BLM, and sometimes you need to reduce the numbers of certain animals or else they're going to overeat and then maybe kill off or endanger another species. On one aspect, you can see kind of like if you let them free and there was no humans, you already have survival of the fittest. And that's kind of what happens throughout the generations and evolution. So now that we're here, we're the top dog right now. So we have a super unfair advantage because now we're using guns instead of like knives or whatever. And poaching is a big issue that I very dislike about some of like the bad things that people say about hunting, because poachers are not hunters. Poachers are people that just go out there, they don't have any tags or anything, and they just kill animals just to kill them, and they might even leave them there or just like take off their antlers. And I don't agree with that at all. I feel like we could improve maybe the concept behind hunting is just to be more informed. Most people disagree or dislike something just because they don't know about it or they don't know enough about it. So first one I would say is inform the people of and give them correct information, because sometimes you might talk to your neighbor and he's against hunting and he's like, well, yeah, those hunters just go out there and they kill animals and they come back and that's all I see from my neighbors. And she doesn't know anything or he doesn't know anything about the actual regulations that we have to follow. I feel like in the United States we're taking a great approach on, containing and making sure we still have the wildlife that we do. Some ways that I think can improve, like the guns falling into the wrong hands, could be just maybe a deeper, not a background check, but kind of like a psychological check of some sort. I feel like if there's gun uses in like highly populated areas, there definitely needs to be a psychological check. So I feel like it should be kind of like maybe a law or something. If you're trying to get a gun, it should be based off the population. So like if it's highly dense, it should be very like stringent on it. So they could do like a psychological test where, they ask them basic questions, make sure they're not like mentally ill or something like that. Kind of base it off location, based on population, and then just the psychological part of it. They should actually introduce something to it.
Despite the controversial activities Sergio partakes, he wishes to make changes in the environment after graduating this spring semester with a bachelor's degree in mining engineering.
I'm proud to say that I believe in the mining thing. I didn't do it because I'm purposely just going to destroy the land. I did it because it's a challenge. It's a challenge and it's unlike any other engineering, mainly because we really don't know what's happening. Everything's always moving. We don't know if what we're designing is actually going to work, and nobody's ever done it. So that's something that's just like you have way too many variables, and it's more on intuition and then just relying on your experience instead of reading something from a book that has a certain rule and that you know exactly every single parameter.
Although Sergio may partake in these controversial activities, he He wants to make sure people know that not everyone who is involved with these activities are in it for the sake of evil. It is better to be informed about these topics before colliding and pointing fingers on those who have different opinions than yours.